goodness. Big move Monday. Look out. A way to end the tournament.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Quad Pod, sponsored by Poseidon Strength and Adidas Wrestling. Couldn't even get that one out. Make sure you guys are using our discount codes at checkout when you visit our awesome sponsors. There has been an update to those promo codes, and the one now for Adidas is now QP20 instead of the old one, which is what, QP25. So make sure you're using the correct one on Adidas. I know the season's going to be coming up, so we want to make sure you guys are getting your discounts on all your gear. And if you have any teams or anything else, certainly reach out to us. We can get you guys connected with our Adidas person, and they can help out with a lot of that stuff too if you don't just want to use the discount code. So make sure you reach out. Always good to be joined by Kevin, Austin, and Robbie. I'm Holmes. This is episode 63. This is the Gene Upshaw episode. First player to appear in a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. So had to go Gene Upshaw for this one. Plus he was on the fucking Raiders,
impressive
dude.
Stat.
Like he was on that mean ass Raiders team. So
remember when they were good?
I mean, yes, we could have went Jeff Saturday. I get it, but nah, we went with a mean defensive lineman instead. Obviously we're going to talk about not RAF. Obviously we're going to talk about Final X. We've got all these acronyms and everything else thrown out there. I sound like Matt Boy right now, making fun of Final X for anybody that saw his tweets. So talk about Final X and our world team. We will talk a little bit about this 5-for-5 rule that literally just passed, and how we think about it. We've got obviously some Cliff Notes on those because, as you can see, we're not the read the full book kind of guys. But we're going to always start with our weigh-in. And for my weigh-in, it's, I guess, kind of a plug for my other podcast, to be completely honest. So I have this other podcast with NHSCA that we're going to start promoting here soon. It's called Beyond the Whistle. And this past week, I interviewed Troy Terapelli, the head coach at Buchanan. We talked about sustaining success and how it was coaching when he was fresh off of his years of being a competitor, how he's transitioned through his coaching style and how he feels about NIL and things like that too. And he says that the minute that NIL starts to creep into what he's trying to do at the high school level, he's out of coaching, right? So pretty good conversation. Be on the lookout for that coming. But shout out to Troy. Loved how candid he was and how honest he was about his coaching, how he felt about his own career, and just like how he has maintained success through the storm of a changing sports landscape. So it was really cool. Dr. Troy Terapelli, haven't talked to him in so long. Used to be a part of those Buchanan versus Clovis battles. I got to be in the gym for a lot of those. And tell you what, like that area does wrestling big. Very big. There's fireworks, there's inflatables, there's raised mats. Like it is incredible to see, one, how they do Doc B in that finals, but two, like that Clovis versus Buchanan rivalry. So being able to be in that
out
gym,
some talent too.
and they really have too. So like that area, I tell you what, that area, I used to love going to that area. Whenever I was able to travel, I booked Doc B just about every year. And every year that I knew I was going to Doc B, I would make sure that my trip was longer and longer so that I could get out there, get more content, hang out with those guys. Because it was just awesome, being in those wrestling rooms, seeing how tight knit the coaching staffs were and how much they also wanted to kill each other. So it was really awesome. But shout out to that area. Shout out to California wrestling in general. Pretty awesome state for wrestling, but it was really good conversation. Like I said, be on the lookout for that one coming soon. Austin, on to you.
I will selfishly plug my event that I'm hosting next month on Saturday, July 18th. Again, I did it last year as well. 15th annual Brandon Summer Memorial Scholarship Wiffle Ball Tournament. If you're in the Lehigh Valley or surrounding area, want to participate, please reach out. If you just want to stop in, hang out, also fun too. There's also links to donate. If you want to donate some cash, donate prizes, raffles, whatever you want to do, reach out. It's a good event every year and hoping for some good weather this year. Secondly, I want to shout out all the fathers out there. We just had a Father's Day. So whether you're a good father or bad father, hopefully you're a good one. in the wrestling term, I should say. Happy Father's Day to you guys. And thirdly, shout out to Beat the Streets. They have their national enrichment camp and duels this actually going on right now as we speak this week, hosted in Cleveland this year. They're expecting about 500 student athletes from all over the country to compete, learn, and get some mentorship from older athletes and older experienced people in the sport. So Beat the Streets does an awesome thing every year. This camp is great for students and people looking to get involved with wrestling, stay involved, and also give back to the community. So shout out to Beat the Streets and awesome camp going on this week.
Yeah, and the double down on the scholarship fund and everything that you're doing with the wiffle ball tournament. We'll have all of those details down below as well. So, make sure that if you guys missed anything that Austin said, all of those details are down below, and it's a good thing to get involved in. Robbie, on you.
Two quick ones. First one, shout out to UVA coach Steve Garland. And a couple of his guys, Wynton Dankinson and Marlon Yarbrough, helped out with a job of mine today, moving some equipment into a gym. And Steve's just a great guy, always willing to help out and just a good guy to know and good guy to have around. And the second one is shout out to the Stanford guys who did some beach wrestling in Italy, which, if I have to go wrestle on the beach, Sardinia is probably a good place to do it. They sent 4 guys. I'm trying to figure out if Angelo Posada didn't have match for what reason Angelo Posada didn't have matches. But Adam Matten brought home bronze, Colin Guffey brought home a silver, and Cole Han-Lindmeyer is bringing home a gold from the beach wrestling, Sardinia Beach Wrestling Championships. So shout out to them. I mean, I guess when you're a California wrestling team, beach wrestling is a little easier than it is in some other places.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely the place you would want to wrestle if you were going to do some beach wrestling. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Although I don't envy that post-match shower and needing to get sand out of those really tough places. That's got to suck. Claunch, one of you.
I did beach wrestling in Grand Haven, Michigan one time. It was probably not the same view as in Italy. And
was it on the dunes?
It was
on
not
top
on
of the dunes. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. It was a good time, except for my last match. I was like, I guess I'll try to take a shot. And I was like, it was a terrible idea. It's just sand is everywhere. And it was raining at the time. So I was like, I just want to get this over with. Whether I win or lose, like I'm just going to dive at this guy's legs. And then I'm just got sand in my mouth and ears. And I'm immediately getting in the van to leave. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Anyway, my shout outs are going to a couple different wrestling camps going on locally. One, Cortland attended at Cornerstone University. Shout out to head coach Denver Stonecheck. The head clinician there was Max Dean. So I got a chance to talk with Max a little bit after that. Super nice guy. He did some Q&A before the clinic was over as well, just to help answer any questions about college wrestling, life in general, training habits, how to balance some of those things out. Really level-headed and easygoing guy. So hope to have him on the podcast here coming up. But I also wanted to shout out his club, Ethos Wrestling, at ethoswrestling.com. You can check that out. My son is already registered to go to a Levi Haynes and Josh Barr clinic coming up. Additionally, he has an Alex Stieringer wrestling camp coming up on August 1st. Austin, if you want to sign up for that one, it might be good. He there's a couple things he can teach you. And then Jordan Lean is coming in as well, June 25th, short notice. But I was really excited for that one because I still maintain that one of the best, if not the best, folk style wrestling match I've ever seen in my entire life was Jordan Lean versus Jordan Burroughs. I think it was at Cliff Keen or something like that.
Yeah, CKLB finals. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Make sure you make fun of Jordan's boots because he doesn't like it, and I think it's hilarious.
Make fun of Jordan Lean's boots?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. So check all that out. And Max was great. And Cortland's currently attending the Grand Valley State University Wrestling Camp. Head coach RJ Boudreau running that. We talked about RJ a handful of times on this show and interviewed him through some of our feeds. And it's specifically on getting out on bottom, which I like because Cortland is bad at it. And I cannot I don't know what else to say. Hand control, urgency, explode, time the whistle, kick him in the
Just
dick.
get
I don't
out.
care what
Just
you
get
do.
out.
I got to get a cattle prod, Colot style, and just start blasting this kid. So
We used to play tag.
I'm not
with those.
really
It's
going to
not
do
that
that,
bad.
actually. Yeah,
It's not
that's
that
right.
bad.
You're from Wyoming, where it seems like it's a
Yeah.
normal thing to have plenty of
It's
cattle
fun.
prods on hand.
I recommend
the
it.
only-
It's good times.
The first time I remember hearing about a cattle prod was Jurassic Park, when they're like blasting that raptor through the fence, trying to get him to go in the cage. Yeah, that's all.
They work well for tag.
They work well for tag.
And getting out on bottom.
Yeah, and
that's
getting out of bottom. Dual
tag.
purpose.
Wyoming's version of tag is right there.
It's good times.
You talked about how Josh Barr is going to be doing the clinic. How Josh Barr doesn't have a bar series is beyond me. Like, the marketing is right there for him, literally right there. If my last name was Barr and I was gonna get good at a move, it'd be a bar series, easily marketable.
1,000,000 times. Yeah.
And then you go to the bar afterwards, so everybody wins.
Everybody wins. That's the kind of bar series that we have now.
I'm signing up.
It's the
Sir,
bar.
you're
series
too old
at
for
the
this.
bar.
It's like, I didn't see an age limit. I paid my dues. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, we'll get to the age limit, but we're gonna talk Final X first. The name that I said, that old Matt boy said he couldn't stand on Twitter, which was kind of out of left field when he said. I was like, I understand what you're saying, I get it, but it was still one of those things where I was just like, huh, okay, guess just having something that was. I mean, it's all marketing, is literally what it is.
He doesn't like the Final X name.
Yeah, he was saying
I
that he
still
was
call it
not a
World Team
fan.
Trials.
He was not a fan of.
It's because nobody knows what Final X means unless you're in wrestling.
Yeah, but like nobody's watching the wrestling World Team Trials either, unless you're
It's
a
because
wrestling
it's called
fan.
Final X.
This is true.
Actually,
we do have a finals of the World Team Trials, but the absolute finals are Final X.
The final of the finals.
The final of the finals.
The final finals.
Well, let's talk about the.
Can't even call
10.
it Final Triple X anymore because Greco's not involved.
This is true. Let's talk about the final 10, and we're gonna go in the same order that they went in. We started heavyweight, and Hendrickson, back on the world team, takes out Mason Paris, 9-5, 7-1. He looked very good. I mean, no notes really. I mean, the match was awesome though. I mean, I love the fact that we have heavies that move, and that the era of of heavyweights that could play other sports at a high level has not stopped yet. Like, I'm fearful of the day when that happens, where we regress back to heavyweights that don't move their feet. So I'm very happy that we have heavyweights that can scramble out of things, move their feet, and they're agile. It's just awesome. So I thought the match was great. I honestly feel that I would have confidence in either one of these guys. I know that we've seen both of them on the like a very bad losing end of the spectrum when it comes to them on the world stage, but I feel like they've certainly grown and they've taken that into the international tournaments that we've seen them wrestle in and everything else. So, but no, very, very good match, very clean match. I thought Hendrickson wrestled phenomenally, obviously. I mean, but no, I'm supremely confident in who our heavyweights are. I know some people may call me crazy because of past results from both of these guys, but I feel like, we've seen up and down our team for the most part, where guys don't do well in certain tournaments. So but they still end up being very good. We'll talk about some of those guys here in a second, but no, I a lot of confidence in Wyatt Hendrickson for sure. Claunch, your thoughts on the heavyweight battle?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would have liked to have seen Mason Paris make the team, but I think Wyatt did a really good job. He even when Mason was able to get to his legs, he was scrambling well. He was doing a great job attacking the far ankle and really, capitalizing on those positions. Very infrequently just gave up his own takedown, right, off of a Paris shot. So I can't say any of the challenge calls that were reversed I thought were super egregious. I thought that based on what I could see, it looked like those calls should have been reversed in the way that they were. KJ
disagrees.
Was pissed. And it's frustrating, right? Your guy goes out there, you're watching the match, it's going live, you think you're getting points, and then all of a sudden, once it happens, twice sucks, third time it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is every one of these getting reversed against us? Like, we're just getting back in the match, and now it's hard enough to score here. But
and then you have the potential missed pin call, and that's adding to the anger too.
Right. So, I think that Wyatt won those matches. He did a great job, and I think that going out there and having a disappointing showing at the last World Championships where we had a lot of Wyatt Hendrickson hype and excitement going on was hopefully a good thing, right? Sometimes you got to show up and get kicked in the teeth just to be ready to go the next time. That's what the Spurs fans are saying these days. So, sometimes it happens, and I think he didn't walk through this easily. He had to earn it, and he certainly did. So more power to him.
Yeah. Robbie?
I mean, I thought he looked great. That first match was really fun, really back and forth. Both of them super active. Second match, Wyatt kind of separated himself a little bit more. I mean, I don't think either of them would have been a bad rep. I think Wyatt's going to learn from his last experience, and I think he's in a good spot. So I feel good about it.
Austin?
Yeah, I think I had more fun watching 125-pound kilograms over 125-pound wrestlers. 125-kilogram guys over 125-pound wrestlers. The NCAA sometimes these guys just not enough action, but these big guys are going at it. Hendrickson and Paris, both very offensive. Makes you a little nervous, if I'm being honest, with Hendrickson shooting as much as he does, getting stuck underneath some of these bigger guys that are good at these gut wrenches or these chest locks and things like that. But
like hip tips even.
Yeah, even things like that, but I think having that experience and working on that, I think he'll perform better this year. But yeah, I have 100% confidence in these guys. Fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? Like, being offensive is great. I love how some of our guys were super offensive in these matches, but also you have to be a lot more strategic on the world stage. And for me, overall, and this is the portion of the show where we talk about referees, I will always hate how domestically matches are not reffed the same way that they are internationally. It absolutely sucks. And we can roll into it. That first match with Rutherford and Ridge Lovett, I was like, Lovett has taken 4 shots in the second period, and Zane has taken 1. I get it. He's up, 1-0 at that point, but you got there's got to be a shot clock. They have to be more aggressive. I feel like the referees are way too lenient domestically for us, and it does us no good when we get to those international tournaments, specifically Worlds or Olympics, when obviously we're seasoned, so we know what the refereeing is going to be like on those stages, but you still don't do us any favors by holding back from calling a guy for passivity or giving him a warning after maybe 2-3 shots by his opponent and he's just blocking off.
Right, and we don't see them adjusting to the difference in calls too, and that's the concerning part. Is there, we said the exact same thing at the World Team Trials about Zane in the Henson match, and not just shutting down and not doing anything, and that there probably should have been more passivities. So he's got that 2 finals in a row, and we know that's not going to be called the same way internationally. So he's got to adjust and know how it's actually going to be called, or he's putting himself in a hole to begin with, and that's not helpful.
Yeah.
What was the match where they called back-to-back passivity calls? Was that Ridge? It was Ridge and Zane.
Yeah.
That's like
Mhm.
equally as stupid. It's like
Yeah.
you just put one guy on the clock. What do you expect the other guy to do for 30 seconds? Like wildly attack? Like what do you understand the implications of what the calls you're making are actually doing to the wrestling? Like that blew me away. It's like if you're gonna make one call, fine, make one call, but don't make the opposite call in the very next match with the same exact wrestlers.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the inconsistency is just infuriating too. Like not just the inconsistency in between how it's called internationally and domestically, but even within matches. Like there's no rhyme or reason seemingly to why and how some of these are called.
Yeah, very annoying. I mean, that Rutherford Lovett match, that first match, it was frustrating. I mean, overall, it was frustrating to watch Zayn wrestle, right? Like, the dude is super strong. You know, he's insanely strong. We've seen how strong he can be, but it's like, where's the offense? Let's bring the offense. Let's like, because you're going to need the offense to beat these guys on that next level. Like, nothing against Ridge Lovett, but he is a totally different wrestler than a lot of these guys that Zayn is going to see on that big stage. And obviously Zayn knows that. He's 70 kilogram world champ. Like, he has been at the top, but he's also not wrestled in 2 years. Right. So he's had that layoff to where he has been more of a lax wrestler, and it just, or maybe not even lax, but maybe just like defensive, outright defensive. So like, I don't know. I want to selfishly, I want to see him attacking more. I would love to see Zayn, getting to a leg more and not just opportunistically getting to a leg like he did late in the match, in the first match against Lovett. I understand it was 8-2 in the second one, but even still, like, gotta be, for me, looking at the rest of the team, a lot of these guys are looking for ways to score. Even Kyle Dake, who is normally a more defensive guy, was shooting somewhat more than Zahid, which was shocking, during certain spurts of the match. So, no, just not, you would think that from World Team Trials to Final X, there would have been some sort of switch or transition of, turning it up a little bit. And you didn't really see that very much with Zayn. So maybe it's wishful thinking that it comes around for Worlds, but what do you, I mean, hopefully you're saving it for Worlds and you figured it out that you can beat these guys domestically without going full offensive. But I don't know, it just didn't, you want to see these guys attack. Freestyle is supposed to be way more exciting. And for most instances it is. And, and we know how dynamic and how much Zayn can actually score.
I think there's a big difference though too between like a guy who is really good at defense versus a guy who wrestles primarily defensively, right? Like we know Kyle Dake is very good at defense, but he is also an elite wrestler on his feet and can score from a lot of positions, is explosive and those sorts of things. You very, very infrequently, at least like, for the United States world teams, have sent a guy to Worlds who is just shut down his offense like Zayn appears to, and then they come back with a medal. Like it really doesn't happen. The guy who was Zayn, who was winning world championships, was a guy who was hand fighting and pummeling and holding position and at least able to score and attack. It really, I don't even recall thinking to myself like, man, Zayn is elite defensively. Like that was never his thing. This version of him, it seems to be his thing. And again, the 8-2 score in that second match, like that's misleading. That's not what the score of that match was before all of a sudden he got that defensive score at the end on in what was a great scramble. It was a great scramble, but then big turns at the end there. Like
Yeah,
Zayn's just one of those guys, if he gives up a step out point or a shot clock point and then gives up a takedown or a turn, he's down 3-0 against these good guys. What confidence do we have in him to be able to go out there and score? I mean, will he push guys out a bunch and get 3 points? Maybe, yeah, but these really good guys, he's got to find a way to score on them. I agree with you guys. He needs a takedown. He just needs more points in general, but offense for sure.
The new push out rule definitely is designed, or at least definitely helps him,
Yeah,
by
for
design,
sure.
Yeah.
right? Like guys aren't
Very much
dropping
so.
down as much anymore. He's more of a dig underhooks, front headlock kind of a guy and push, which we certainly saw. And I think Burroughs during the call, I don't think he sugarcoated it, but he certainly pointed out how Zane is pressuring when he's in that position, digging his toes in and everything else. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of the most offensive thing we've seen him do is put that pressure on. It's not, he dropped to a leg late in that first period in that first match, and the leg was just kind of there. It was more of a look what I found, let's run out the clock kind of a thing, and not fully shooting and committing to try and score. So I am very hopeful that we get the Zane that takes shots and tries to score and doesn't just try and hold center and hope for being on the shot clock first.
I mean, we know how good he is positionally, and we know how offensive he can be, and that he can score at will. You just need a combination of the two. Like he needs to get that lead and then be able to utilize that positioning and defense rather than grinding out a 2-1 match every time.
Yeah. On the other side of things, Levi Haynes looked pretty damn good. Very impressed with
Yeah,
Levi
he did.
Haynes over Marsteller. I feel like he's just like such a quiet assassin. Like he's not flashy. He's gonna hand fight you like crazy. I mean, he is. I think it was Austin Gomez that tweeted it. Like Levi Haynes might be the best hand fighter that I've ever seen. Like he is amazing with the hand fight, and it opens up so much for his offense. I was very impressed by Haynes and how he really did use that hand fighting to really kind of crack open the offense and score 6 points in both matches against Chance, who has a rubber knee and is stingy and isn't afraid to fight fire with fire, but like he finished clean and didn't really allow for a chance to use any of those rubber knee style tricks. So it was a very good match by Levi Haynes. 2 matches by Levi Haynes where he was in control from start to finish. I do think that Marceller was a little dinged up. I think maybe I haven't seen any reports. I've been kind of, when the week starts, I'm clocked in on full-time job than I am wrestling. But yeah, he was definitely dinged up. It looked like maybe like a bruise on the ribs or a crack on the ribs or something like that. But I mean, Chance still wrestled very well despite being a little hobbled for sure. But I was very impressed by Haynes and his ability to control a match against Chance, who's a very tough hand fighter in his own right.
Chance is bouncing around in weight classes. I don't think is helping him either.
Yeah.
But I mean, Levi looked great, and that's kind of what we've come to expect from him. Varied attacks, great hand fighting, clean finishes, and getting his points and getting out the door. And that's what we saw in his run last year. And I think he's putting himself in a position to do even better this year.
So when I had a chance to talk to Max Dean and give him actually the news that Levi had won his first match against Marsteller. And he was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's crazy. He's an awesome wrestler and really humble kid. And it's cool that you guys are going to be coming to this camp." And he said he's actually a better hunter than he is a wrestler, and that's pretty terrifying for the animals that he's hunting. Like
I've got a deer you can deal with.
I assume he's hand fighting the animals too, and that's just how he kills them. I didn't ask any further questions on it yet, but I'm going to move forward with that as my assumption. But yeah, great hand fighting, great positional awareness. Even when he was down in what was that, match 2, I was like, this is a matter of time before he's getting to his angles and finishing it out. And again, like guy took second in the world last year. I think he's just going to keep being hungry until he can get that done. And he's kind of a tweener though, right? Like we'll see what he ends up doing as far as once we get to that Olympic year. But in the meantime, go kick some ass, man.
Yeah. And Robbie, I think you're right about the weight fluctuation, not to give, an out or excuses to Chance, but it's not helping him whatsoever. I think he was trying to position himself at 86 for sure, because it is an Olympic weight and 74 is way too light for him. He is a 79 kilo guy, but getting as big as you need to wrestle 86 it's going to be tough
cutting
to come back
back.
down to 79 and still be, mobile or as mobile as you would really want to be. Speaking of mobility, Greasy with a new
transitions
hip.
well into our next one.
Transitions perfectly. Greasy with a new hip. James Green, David
For the
Carr was a
record,
great
one of us
match.
called Greasy and Threezy. So
You did.
I would like my
Good call.
props here.
You
Good call.
did. I
Thank
definitely
you.
give you the props on that one. I love I know I've gone to Twitter a couple of times now. Green's tweet about how his one leg is now shorter than the other because of his hip surgery. And that's why it looks like he's always limping, because he can't wear a lift in a wrestling shoe to balance him out. So he's like, I'm not like truly hurt all the time. Like, but if it looks like I'm limping, it's because I now have one leg that is shorter than the other because of his hip surgery.
It's a
So
much better reason to be limping, though.
yeah. But I mean, he looked very good. The what was it? Was it the first match? I can't remember which match it was. Might have been the third. But the shuck by that he hit Carr with was nasty. Just like very push pull on the pressure, and was just gone, right? And then full on Matt IQ to fight through that quad pod. Like just knew he was gonna go wide and just sat him back to his heels. It was just savvy, right? I didn't think that. I mean, you figured that the matches would be that close for sure, but like didn't know what to expect from Green against a guy who has the kind of motion and offense like Carr for sure. What did you guys think of the 74 kilo match?
I mean, I think that's the Green that I was hoping to see. The vet savvy definitely helped out there and understanding positions, and his mad IQ, I think came into play, especially late in matches. But I mean, he was getting to angles, getting to great shots. I mean, he dictated the matches for the most part, and he looked really good doing it. So I feel good with him as our rep this year.
Yeah, that's another guy too that you kind of saw at a few different weights. Couldn't really find the right weight. Went down to 65, right? And
Yeah, sucked all the way down to 65. That was rough.
Yeah, couldn't really make it. Had hip surgery. Was kind of coaching for a while. Now he's back. Just a really cool story that I didn't see him winning this one. I thought David Carr was the guy, but again, Green just proven Father Time is, doesn't affect him. Doesn't affect Kyle Dake. A few guys it doesn't affect right now. So yeah, props to him. That's awesome to see that. And seeing Jordan Burroughs call these matches, he was kind of feel like he was kind of torn. Because Green's kind of his guy, his old partner, Nebraska alum, and training David Carr, pretty close with him too. So tough one for JB in the booth there.
Yeah, and Green looked huge too. He looked jacked.
Yeah,
for this match.
He looked really good.
Well, and I think that's one of the things I was so excited for, and you already kind of referenced it there, Austin, going back and forth. Like when he was trying to drop down to 65, I think part of it was like Burroughs was still at 74, and he was training with him. He probably knows how that's going to go, right? Like, so to have the spot where it's actually open and he can go to the weight and go to it naturally and make it actually like be competitive there, because we've seen him bump up, I feel like, in the past, and it just wasn't competitive. Even going from 70 to 74. It probably didn't help that at the time you had, David Taylor and Kyle Dake at that weight too. Maybe even an Andrew Howe in there. I don't remember at the time if he was still competing. But
Howe was out at that point. It was Jordan, David, and Kyle.
Right. And to place 4 in that group is still pretty good. But anyway, it's exciting to see him have an opportunity at a weight where he can be competitive still. And Greasy and Threezy. I got to start trying to think of any other rhymes next time we're trying to make picks, because my picks sucked. I think the other thing I thought was cool was, I think maybe I got this wrong, but I think Green said he was 8-0 going into Final X's, and this was the first loss he took to anybody in a Final X, at least since maybe a Marable match somewhere. So he's like, shout out to
pre-Final X, that wasn't it?
I think it was, but I'm just saying what he referenced in his interview.
Yeah.
So
no, I think that's great.
But yeah, I just thought that was cool, and I was like, damn, like I knew Green had won a bunch of these spots and had been wrestling really competitive at any of these, but I didn't realize he would like dominated that much. So shout out to him getting this spot. Shout out to David. I mean, that's a tough loss there, but clearly we're all kind of, it sounds like, on the same page. Like, this is a well-earned position, and feel good about Green on the world level at this weight class.
Yeah. And the note that Austin has in our doc, and I maybe shout out to Earl too for what Earl has done with some of these little notes. Green, he last won Final X in 2019, like pretty crazy, right?
Pre-COVID.
Win in 2019. Yeah, COVID not even a thing. So he's fighting these COVID babies. He's got a new hip. One leg is shorter than the other. Our pets' heads are falling off. I mean, you got a lot there. You got a lot. But no, shout out to Greasy. He looked really good. A great match between him and Carr. And I believe Carr is a guy that we could see in that 74 kilogram spot for a very long time. But I also feel like Carr kind of lost a step from what we saw last year a little bit, right? Like, we saw it especially at the Open, him taking losses that he's taken, or at least took at the Open. And then he was still, kind of chugging along, very tough match in the trials finals too. So very interesting, certainly very interesting to see how David has competed, but still confident that, he can certainly be the guy maybe next year if he can beat Green or whatever it is. But I think 74 would be his spot at some point. Probably at this point, it might take James Green retiring or getting another hip surgery and losing a couple more inches to that leg. But it is Greasy's spot, and he looked very good doing it. Yeah, next. 97. Kyle Snyder taking his first loss to a domestic wrestler
in a weird ass match.
Ivan Gatson, yeah. And a lot of people were saying that the refs like gave it to Buchanan. Like, match was 5-5, guys.
It was
a weird call. It was a really weird call. The way it was explained to me was that it came from the table and that it was like a fleeing the mat sort of a call.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've seen that call made in that instance in that way before.
Not in that position before.
Yeah.
It is. It's a little aggressive to say they gave him the match, because the way I saw it was he got the takedown, which was successful, whether or not there was any fleeing in bounds, and then was like ready to go back to the center to try to compete for one final takedown to win the match, which who knows what would have happened at that point. Right. But to blame it on the officials there is one thing. And then there was also 20 seconds left, which Kyle Snyder couldn't score in. So. But good for Snyder. I mean, he got it done. He made another world team. He's looked really good, with the exception of that one loss. We said it last episode, right? Like, he's been wrestling really well in everything he's competed in, whether it's RAF or any of the international tournaments. So I'm excited to see, hopefully a pissed off Kyle Snyder attack the world here.
Hope so. Certainly hope so. I mean, I loved the fact that in match 3 he came out firing. And I mean, maybe Buchanan was just a little tired too. Like, certainly not a caveat, but you saw Buchanan score a takedown and then he had nothing left in the tank. Like, just battery drained after that. And Snyder just tons of pressure moving forward, scored the first 2-3 takedowns of that third round, and looked very good. I mean, barely, I don't even think he hit a knee for really any of them. It was mostly snatch singles on a lot of those. So I'm hopeful he keeps that up.
Old Kyle Snyder too.
Yeah. So great attacks from Snyder for sure. Any other thoughts on Buchanan versus Snyder?
I mean, just feels like, we talked about last week too. It feels like Snyder's been around forever. Looking at the ages, he's 30 years old. There's 3 guys on the team older than him, and he's by far the most established. This is his 12th team, something like that. So, it's crazy how long he's been around. I feel like he doesn't get the credit he might deserve in that aspect, but just because like we talked last week too, he never loses domestically. You know, he's always just the guy. He's always winning, and I don't know. It's just very bizarre. Not really talked about as much as maybe he should, but yeah, only 30 years old, making his like 12th team or whatever. It's just incredible what he's done.
Crazy.
I meant to mention this earlier too, but I was blown away when Wyatt Hendrickson and Mason Paris's ages popped up, and Mason was 27 and Wyatt was 26, and I was like, damn, it feels like there should be a bigger gap there between those two. But
the fact that Levi Haynes is what, 22?
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's done with college.
Yeah.
We haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah, that used to be the norm.
I was 22 and I finished college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 21 when I finished college.
Same.
I should have been, but I took 5.5 years.
Central Michigan plan.
That's right. Lots of red shirts.
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Took an Olympic red shirt in my sociology junior year.
There you go. 61, Blaze versus Forrest. This is a match, I mean, obviously we're going to see a ton of in folk style, which we didn't see it at all in folk style this year. So we get it. We get it in freestyle. And, man, these guys are impressive. These guys are really impressive. Somebody posted a clip just kind of slowing down a sequence where Blaze goes from underhook to like firing off a shot, and he's almost basically threw a shot, and as Forrest is reacting, he's pushing the head to the outside, sit in the corner. Like it all looks like one fluid motion. It is crazy how reactive Forrest was, but like how quickly and seamlessly Blaze was able to transition from regular collar tie into underhook, using the underhook to fire off a shot, head outside shot, and like all this, like just a crazy sequence. These guys are impressive. I mean, I'm wishful thinking one of them, most likely Blaze, moves up to 65 at some point, because having them both on the team would just be incredible with the level of experience and the technique that both of them have. Round 3 was very, very bizarre. I mean, Jax Forrest stopped wrestling, it looked like, when he got turned. Again, not giving excuses here. It just looked very bizarre. But I also thought that it wasn't a takedown, because on the way down, Jax caught the leg and they gave the takedown. So I thought that like that sequence, they could have continued wrestling instead of, them giving the takedown and going into parterre. But then he just relaxed there. Like it was very weird. Like he just mental lapse. And then why they didn't throw the brick, I was also very confused with that too. I thought that they would throw the brick because it, again, seemed like as Jax was going to the ground, he was able to catch the leg. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I thought that he caught the leg and was still essentially just like facing Blaze towards the end of that, and then lets the leg go and gets turned with what looked like a lapse. But all in all, obviously great series, great bunch of matches, technique very, very high for both of these guys, but just very bizarre. Like I said, in that third match where I thought that Jax relaxed and got turned, and that was it, because Blaze stays in phenomenal position and he's going to hold center. Even in folk style, we can remember him doing that too.
Yeah, these matches were incredible. I mean, it made me wonder, because both of these guys are so flexible and like almost like watery in the way that they move.
Wiry.
It's just crazy. It's like it made me wonder, like, I feel like I remember back in the day, like back in late 90s, early 2000s wrestling, like just giant muscles and power was like so much more what you saw in college. And now it's like you just see these guys who are just like functionally strong at wrestling. And like these guys in particular, like you think about like a Brock Hardy or some of these guys where it's just so hard, like a Vance Von Bauer kind of comes to mind when you think of this, like guys where their hips and their knees and their joints are just like kind of, again, I'm watery. I'm going to use that term. It's like you can't really get a firm hold on it because it's like they're just able to just squeeze and wiggle and out of these positions, almost like an octopus. You ever see an octopus like condense itself and like fit in like a tiny little hole to get off a boat?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it feels like you watch with some of these guys too, you know? So it was just super impressive. I mean, you know, that's the thing. You can't have these little lapses. In my, just to address that position, I don't remember if I ever saw a clean camera angle where I could make a determination on the leg. I feel like the camera angle that I saw when he was rolling him through with the trap arm gut, the leg was free at that point.
At that point, it was, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
leg was definitely free.
You know, if he was just sitting there waiting for them to throw a brick, you kind of saw a look on Jax's face like, you know, no, that's not right. Or maybe he was just pissed at himself for giving up that position. Or maybe he thought they were too far out of bounds, you know, but nonetheless, the referees didn't think that. You can't give him that moment. Not in that space.
True.
Yeah, just I'll say overall fun matches. You know, there were a few times I saw Blaze kind of circling around with kind of up around the waist, and Blaze would Jax would stand up, Blaze would drop down to a leg, but like kind of what Claunch is saying, Forrest already kind of expected that. It was like sprawling and getting, you know, squared up, and just the way that they were going, it looked like they were almost drilling to a point where they were just kind of like fluid with the motion.
It's like a flow.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch, and yeah, it just, yeah, just being so young and having the IQ and feel like that is just incredible. These guys they're just so good, so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And kind of to Claunch's point, I feel like neither of them look strong, but anytime I watch Jax, like my feeling is that he's got to be incredibly strong, especially from the forearms, like with his pull and his hand fight. He looks like he's just not enjoyable to be in that position with, and he's really strong there. But super impressed by both of them. Was the end of the first match when Blaze hit that little duck kind of shrug by. It was really pretty. I don't know.
So.
I was really impressed with him. Yeah, it just both of them high IQ for their age, knowing where they're at, knowing what they need to do. I mean, kind of like we said in folk style, we're in really good hands in that weight class for the next few years, with a multitude of different options.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you got to hope that they're all going to raise each other up. You know what I mean? They're all going to make each other better.
Yeah.
Easy, Josh Groban.
It's almost like, yeah, raise you up. No, it's like great call. It reminds me of that 149-pound national title bracket that had like JP O'Connor and like Bubba Jenkins and Darian, like just all the national champs that were in the weight class. Darian Caldwell, Brent Metcalf, Bubba Jenkins, JP O'Connor. There was other people in there. Lance Palmer was in there, I think Frank Molinaro was in there. It's all
the next RAF card.
Yeah, right. Them plus Taco King versus Gorilla Man. That's all on RAF.
Oh man. 57. Spencer Lee with the comeback in match 2. Actually, comeback in both matches. I think he was down 1-0 in match 1, and then 7 points later, he's not down anymore. I feel like match 2, he was in a bit more trouble than in match 1, obviously.
Because he was concussed.
He was definitely.
That's a whole other thing we need
definitely
to address.
Dinged up. But I mean, whether it was his adrenaline, like he said in his interview, or he was concussed or whatever it was, he was able to recover, put it that way. But no, I mean, impressive by Spencer. Even if he is dealing with some sort of elbow injury, the elbow's taped up and everything else, like didn't really seem to affect him. He was able to score points when he wanted to score points for the most part. But I mean, Luke wrestled a very good match as well. He's just not there yet. I mean, I understand that like he's beaten Spencer, but like that was also on a last second headlock, right? It wasn't like it was, you know, straightforward technique, takedown, let him up, all kinds of takedowns, like a regular folk style match. Like it wasn't a dominant win from him. It was a late win. So like very impressed with Lillidahl, but Spencer is still that dude. And he was able to manage with a tied up elbow and maybe a little
Broken
concussed,
head.
and maybe hurt his leg or something. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on with Spencer at the end of that match.
He reminded me of like early college Spencer Lee when he just seemed like he was going out there trying to hurt people and like just physically impose himself to win the match. Like what we used to see with his bar, just ripping people's arm off. Like the same kind of feeling. He was very aggressive, very much dictated everything that was happening. And I don't know, I feel like he was trying to send a message, is kind of the impression that I got. But the concussion thing is, I mean, that's something as a sport, I think we do a shit job with managing and addressing, and we just kind of sweep it to the side like it's not a big deal. Um, but that's a whole other discussion for another time.
Yeah.
You know what makes
Any other
me
thoughts?
lose, like have an adrenaline dump that I lose? Hitting my face on the head of the other person. I often lose my adrenaline when that happens because it's called a concussion.
Yeah.
I mean, it was clear as day, you know.
Yeah.
Like I mean, maybe at the one at the end of the match when he was kind of woozy after that, like maybe I'll buy that one. But I mean, the dude clocked his head. But no, I shouldn't take away from the fact that I'm very happy. And I was making the joke about the concussion earlier. He was down 4-1 before he hit his head. He had to make that comeback after getting his head, his bell rung. So I mean, he was just bound and determined to make that happen one way or another. So maybe there is some validity to an extent. But again, if your adrenaline's going to dump like that, it's because you're like, oh shit, I'm down 4-1 and now I have a concussion. How the hell am I going to do this? Like that's what that could make a whole bunch of adrenaline start going. But hey, I trust that he's going to figure it out. It's not like he was going to get up there and make any excuses because you know how he feels about those. So he's ready to go, man. I'm excited that he's going to get another chance to go get a medal here.
Yeah, Spencer's tough. I mean, what can you say? He's always looked tough. It's pretty rare where he doesn't. So, yeah.
And I
really
think just being down in that second match and coming back is going to be good for him, just to feel what that's like again. It's kind of been maybe not a long time since that's happened, but with that banged up elbow that he might have, a little bit concussed, not feeling his best. He did it against Luke, who already beat him. So put that in the world stage. I think that'll be good for him if he ever needs to find that second gear. At least he's been there before recently too. So I think that'll go a long way for him.
Yeah. The main event, Kyle Dake takes out Zahid Valencia in 3 matches. Robbie, I believe you called this one too.
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I think Dake looked fantastic, and he
looked younger.
He controlled. Yeah, well, that's just kind of what he does. But he looked more savvy, I think is kind of what I think. He certainly used some of his experience and some of the IQ to put himself in better positions. Attacks a lot, was in good position. And kind of like I said before, like my reasoning for it was that Dake had looked really good, and Zahid just hadn't looked like that version of him that we saw last year. And I didn't feel like we were going to see that version, and we didn't. He attacks a lot, but wasn't able to finish anything. And Dake is very difficult to finish on. But with his ability, you would expected Zahid to be able to get through something there, and he just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, Dake is super impressive too. You saw Zahid kind of fading in match 1, and then it carried over into match 2, and then by match 3, I mean, by match 3, he was out of gas, right? He scored 3 points in the first match, 1 point in the second, and 0 in the third, right? So like he was just out of gas. He didn't have anything left, and Dake was still going strong. Like just kind of is what it is. And Dake looked younger. He attacked more. That was the thing that I think talked about too, is that head pinch that he has and how he's able to threaten it, and how we felt like Zahid could handle it because of his length. And he may have handled it, but like Dake was shooting and he was shooting a lot, and he was in Zahid's face. He wanted him to fade, and you could see it. He was not in the business of letting him just sit back and be defensive. He wanted to go out and score points. That was obviously the MO.
I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, according to Earl's notes, this is the first time that two returning world champs faced off in Final X. And Dake is the first wrestler in Final X history to lose match one and come back and win matches 2 and 3. So a lot of history going down in that match. And, Dake being 35 years old as he is, just continuing to grow his body and just have the muscle to move up 2 weights like he has over the years and still be competitive. And
he's only 27, I think.
He's a freak. I mean, 35 on paper, but yeah.
Yeah. His blood is 27.
It's like that Brian Johnson dude.
I've made this comment a couple different times over the years, but it stands to reason again. Like, it takes a while to grow fully into a weight class.
Yeah.
He clearly looked like a different wrestler pound for pound at 86 than he did last year.
He certainly didn't look the way he did when he wrestled Jaden Cox at 86. And
he's wrestled through everybody, dude. He's beaten all these dudes. Yeah, I mean he beat Kekaizen, who won the true third place match. He obviously
that was an awesome match too.
Beat Zahid here, absolutely it was. He obviously beat Zahid here. Like, he's earned this spot. I'm surprised, by the way, Robbie, that you didn't say Dake and Trace or something like that. That kind of rhymes a little bit.
No,
not exactly. Maybe not. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board on that one. But anyway,
expect better from you.
and like, I don't know. I like. My apologies that I didn't actually look this up beforehand, but I was like going back and forth on Twitter with somebody about like, oh, they think Zahid is still the guy right now for this weight. And it's like, you can't justify making that argument at this point. They wrestled. Dake looked like the better wrestler in the 3 of those matches. Every time that Dake has gone to the world championship, he's come back with a medal, most of them being gold. He's clearly the guy who's earned his spot on this team and had to go through one hell of a gauntlet just to get there. So, this is the guy who's going to be going and should feel pretty good about it.
Agreed. Very confident in Kyle Dake. And, as you said, he filled out the weight class now too.
Well, and one of those things, as far as his attacks were going, and I'm sure this is something that they had planned on doing because he was doing it a ton. He was hitting those single legs and then going right up to that body lock and was really controlling the position from there, just staying right in his face, not allowing Zahid to use his length. That was really cool.
Yeah, he ran Zahid down a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Really did. Zahid had to get desperate and look for a throw on the edge of the mat, and it was not there. Dake looked very, very strong, very explosive. It was good to see Kyle Dake in that state. I'm hopeful that it carries on to Worlds, because he's going to be very, very hard to beat if he continues to attack like that, for sure.
So it looks like Kale was 2-0 against David Taylor in these matches between Blaze over Jax and Dake over Valencia, right?
Ooh,
interesting.
Let's keep this tally going.
What is it? Nittany Lion has how many guys on the world team? 6, maybe 5.
I think it's 5. Yeah,
it's a lot. That's half the spots.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're good. Let's move to NCAA. I know we've got true thirds, we've got women, and everything else. I think we'll talk about our women's team at a later date. Put it that way. Matches were good, but want to get to the new 5 for 5 deal, and that is not
the one at Wendy's.
And that's not. I was going to say that it's not the one that you can get from a fast food window.
Are you kidding me?
I actually do like that one better though. But this new thing, I mean, it's age-based eligibility clock. Like, gotta be, 19? The clock starts the academic year after an athlete turns 19 or when they first enroll full-time, whichever comes first. So red shirts are basically gone for the most part. You get 5 years of eligibility. So if you're choosing not to wrestle that first year, you still have 4 left. But like it's not a red shirt, it just counts against you now. So like even I think even some of the bullet points that I have on here with their sources say that like injuries are now kind of out the window. Olympic red shirts are kind of out the window. So it changes a
Gray
lot.
shirts.
And yeah, and I mean, obviously we pay closer attention to wrestling than anything else, but like on the football side of things, those things aren't really, and maybe it's just me just missing it, but I feel like those things aren't as public on the football side of a guy taking a red shirt, taking an Olympic red shirt, petitioning because of injury. Like, yeah, we do have guys that have been there for 8-9 years and need to go and get a job at this point. But like, I don't know, the age, I'm still torn on it, right? Like, I'm hopeful that it changes like this holdback dynamic, but I'm still kind of torn on it. What do you guys think of it? Austin, what are your thoughts on this new 5-for-5 eligibility rules?
I mean, on paper, as the rule is now, I think it's going to be good. Like you said, eliminates those guys getting 7th and 8th years just because they had an injury here. Were they hurt? Were they really not? Olympic red shirts, when, did they really have a chance of making the Olympics? Mostly yes, sometimes no. Like, there's these things.
Leeches
like
might
gray
still
shirts.
have a year left. We better check.
Yeah, it's easier to like, maybe selfishly for us and the fans, it's like, okay, this guy graduated in 2030. His clock's going to be done in 2035. Not, oh, he graduated this year. Oh, let me see. Did he redshirt yet? Oh, there's a gray shirt in here somewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
like it's just easier to track. And maybe that's a selfish thing and silly thing, but I think it's standard across the board then. 5 years. If you're able to compete in all 5, great. If you have to sit a year or 2, also great. You still get your 5 chances. So maybe they'll focus more on academics now. That was a joke.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I don't think
General
that's happening.
studies.
Underwater basket weaving.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I think my only issue with it is I think I would have preferred a 5-year window, 4 years of competition. So I don't know. It feels weird to me to be like, okay, well now you get 5 championships and you get a shot at that,
Yeah.
where that has
Carter
never been
Sirachi
the
might not
thing.
be alone.
Yeah, well, I could say some things to that.
Yeah, I kind of put it on a T for you on that one, didn't I? Surprised you didn't take a hack at that.
But like that's I don't know. I don't want to say it cheapens things, but it changes the dynamic. And I don't know that I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of that. I think the original proposition of a window, like a set window of 5 years, 4 championships. So 4 years, you can compete, but you can only compete in 4 championships. I liked that option better than the 5-for-5. But I do really like the idea of just being a set window of time. Like this is what you have, and you don't get random years to pick and choose to try to get extra eligibility. Like this is what you have, work with it, make the best of it. But I don't know, it certainly affects some sports more than others.
Mhm.
What I was reading, like hockey is a big issue because they have so many guys who go to like prep school and take gray
Yeah.
shirts, and then baseball being an issue with like guys getting drafted and then going back to college. So there's definitely some sports that are going to be impacted in different ways.
Obviously,
But I
they
like
use the big sports as their rubric, though.
Yeah.
right, right. But I do like the idea of it getting rid of the so like make believe red shirts and or Olympic years and everybody getting injury years now. I like it being simplified.
I wish they would add something about transfers too. These guys are going to be at 3 or 4 schools if they're allowed to. Like maybe limit it to, hey, you get 1 transfer without sitting, or something like that. But again,
Yeah.
Well, I
money
think we're going to
talks.
see it's going to cause more complications with transfers now because guys who were trying to kind of bank on a redshirt year from somebody to get in the lineup aren't going to have that option anymore, and it's going to cause it's going to make it a lot more difficult to balance out schedules or to balance out rosters and
They're
figure
gonna have
out.
to get very creative when it comes to putting together their lineups now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
I thought it
Any
was
other
interesting. Just, I feel like just the way it's worded, you're going to find a lot of people going to college at 17, 18 and not taking a full-time class. Like,
Oh, they're gonna figure out how to game it
yeah,
somehow.
there's definitely going to be like, oh yeah, I'm taking, I'm just going to get used to the environment
Getting
here. I'm going to take
acclimated.
Yeah.
6 credit
Acclimation year.
hours
Acclimation.
as I figure this out, you're still going to have stuff like that happen all the time. Guys are going to figure out windows with which to change it up. You're going to have guys reclassify just to go sit at college for another year. And like, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to impact a whole bunch of stuff. And
I think it's gonna be a shit show the first couple of years, honestly.
well, at the end of the day, I mean, like, and I said this before, like, I remember Otto Olson was one of the first guys, like, even being in Ann Arbor, like, one of the first guys that I remember ever having, like, a 7th year. And it was like, he wrestled a year, got hurt, wrestled another year, had an Olympic year. And then, like, anyway, it ended up being a 7th year that he got for some reason. And it was, like, unheard of and wild that happened. But hey, whatever, that NCAA approved it, so let's let it go. And I said to you guys before it got started, I feel like around COVID or after COVID, like they just started giving everybody, retroactive like injury years for stuff that happened like years ago, and then all of a sudden you find out guys have more years of eligibility than you thought.
So we
was
still don't have a
possible.
fucking clue how many years Ferrari has left. Because
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
It's completely wild, and so it's like it sucks, but it's like, hey, you know what? We used to have rules that everybody knew
I mean,
and
which
understood,
Ferrari though? There's 3 of them.
right?
all of them.
Yeah.
And then it's just like they all share a collective pool of 20 years of eligibility, I think is how I understand it. So, but no, it's just like there used to be more like clear understanding in the rules and how they were going to be, built, shelled out. As happens with many things, and this isn't necessarily wrestling specific, but as the money in the sports gets bigger, they want people sticking around longer,
Yeah.
So NIL obviously like had an impact on that too, but I think this is ultimately going to be better based on the current landscape.
For sure.
Yeah, just think those guys that lost that year with COVID had 3 years, and now these guys are getting 5 right out of the books. It's just just weird to think about, crazy.
Bring back Mark Hall.
Left. How about that?
Yeah, Mark Hall, NCAA champ, Oklahoma.
There we
Let
go.
him suit
Cradle
up.
Zone's gonna have a hard on for Sam.
I know. Just what have you started?
And for everybody who like the initial question have always been have immediately gone to Bassett, and is he going to get his 5 years? Yes, because this doesn't actually go into place fully until 2027, so he would have the option of choosing 5 years, or
he was like the poster boy.
traditional.
I mean, he obviously already is the poster boy, but he was like the poster boy for all the posts talking about this today in the wrestling community. The amount of people that I saw that put a caption with a Bo Bassett picture was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what else do you want to talk about? Those are honestly the only 2 things that were kind of on the agenda. We'll talk RAF, I think, maybe not next week, but the week after. We will talk about our women's team as well. We'll get that into a different episode. Maybe next week's episode, as we're going to be without wrestling for a little bit. I know the guys are going to some different places, some different tournaments and stuff. So we'll get the women's tournament in there. We'll do some recaps of, I think Trent is going to Greece. I think I saw him post. I was talking to Jamil earlier. I think he's going with him too. So yeah, we're going to be without a little bit of wrestling for a little bit. I am going to plug one other thing before we go. September, I want to say it's 13th. Elite 8 Duels is coming back. I will be on the call just like any other year with my crew that will be there in Georgia with my man Cliff Fretwell. So looking forward to being back, calling some matches and having some fun there. But yeah, I mean, you guys got anything else? Any movie quotes? Any other parting words?
I would like to send a big fuck you to Enterprise Rent a Car. Because I was supposed to be at Final X this weekend, and I went to pick up my rental car. I was going to drive up and pick up Earl and go up to New Jersey, and I pulled in to pick up my rental car, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have any. Nobody has any cars here in Charlottesville, so fuck you." So I didn't get to go to Final X as I planned. So fuck you,
Earl had that
Enterprise.
big ass room to himself.
And bunk beds somehow,
Bunk
which is a
beds
weird.
in that room.
Never seen bunk beds in a hotel room before, but that's
It's New
what
Jersey.
it is.
Earl requested them specifically for you being there.
Yeah. I
Was
hope
it
we didn't.
Jags and Costco had a sleepover?
Oh,
think
good
so.
times.
I mean, if you get bunk beds, you gotta try the top bunk, but you gotta try it at your own peril because you're the only one in the room. Then you fall
Yeah,
off that,
yeah.
no one's there to help you out at all. So
One
good
time
luck
I
with
fell
that.
down some stairs at a cabin at a bachelor party, and
Sounds
everyone
about
was
right.
asleep. So I was by myself for all intents and purposes.
That's not fun.
No. I do have a
Not
quick
good
movie
times.
quote. I got my kids to watch for Father's Day the 1985 dark comedy movie Clue. So I'm going to shout out.
We played Clue this weekend.
Oh, there you go. Did anyone say communism is just a red herring while playing the game?
No, but I'm going to throw that in next time.
Hey, please do.
Nice.
That's
I
fun.
will give a shout out to Jason Bryant.
He gets a
fan of the
lot of them
show.
on this show.
Yeah, quick shout out to him. Last week I mentioned Columbia bringing their program up to the varsity level. I said that they were the 121st team in all of college. He politely corrected me and said they are the 121st or whatever number NCAA school. There's actually over 245 women's programs across all divisions. So, Jason Bryant, thanks for that correction. And thanks for listening and keep sending us corrections because I'm sure we screw up quite often here.
Never.
By
I'm
design.
always right.
Just
It's
shoot
by
from the hip
design.
sometimes, right? Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, keep the questions coming, even if it's, sending us an email, sending us a DM, whatever it is. I think we can probably finally dig into some of the video games that have come out next week too and chat about some
Yeah.
of those. Because those have been really cool. One of which we've been privy to kind of behind the scenes. So we'll dig into that one. But no, make sure you guys have updated your QP20 on Adidas Wrestling now with our discount code. So make sure you're using that. Make sure you're reaching out to Poseidon Strength and grabbing some really cool gear from them. I think we're gonna potentially. I was talking to those guys the other day. I want to do some gear giveaways from Poseidon Strength. I know we're gonna work on doing some stuff with Adidas as well. So hopefully we can do even more with Poseidon in the future and maybe outfit a wrestling room with one of their ropes or something like that to that effect. So we're certainly trying to not just have you guys out there buying stuff. We want to put some of this goodness into the wrestling community, get some of these products into the hands of the people that need them, whether it's wrestling shoes or some other gear from Adidas or some equipment from Poseidon Strength. But no, we appreciate everybody listening and watching, sending any of the messages, DMs, the hate, the funny, different messages and comments that you post. So keep all those coming, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.